What's the check down without David? What's the check down without what's the check down without David? What's the check down without David? Where's David at? He is recovering from emotional scarring from the 49ers losing to the Rams. That's right, I said it. The Rams beat the 49ers and he couldn't handle it. He just couldn't take it. He had to take the week off. He just couldn't do it. He said, I need the week. I just got to recover. The Super Bowl is going to be too taxing on me. The Pro Bowl is coming up. I just need it. No, David has other plans that are a lot more important than this. He is tied up, so I am the one running the ship and running the show, which is going to happen. Sometimes I might not be able to be on, sometimes he might not be able to be on, but the show must go on. Or does it? I don't know. A lot to talk about this week in the NFL. I'm going to keep this short, though, luckily, because it is just the week of the Pro Bowl. Next week is the Super Bowl, and David and I will be breaking that down more. Pro Bowl is going on today. I don't really care, to be honest with you. It's just the Pro Bowl. Pro Bowl. I don't think actually anyone cares about it anymore, to be honest. But the players get a nice check. Fans get to go see the game. Last time I was at the Pro Bowl was 2 years ago, and it was the day that Kobe Bryant died. So that's always remember that. Shout out to my man. But other than that, this past week, we saw two incredible games. We saw the 49ers not be able to trust Jimmy G. Like I said they couldn't, and they will be looking for a new quarterback. I think they already said thank you, and they're already looking for a trade for Jimmy G to go to a team that he may fit. That probably won't be any team. He'll be a backup regardless, but they'll find somewhere. So the Rams did come back. They were down by 10 in the fourth quarter and did come back and win the game 20-17. The other game, the Bengals versus the Chiefs, that game, crazy. Joe Burrow is that guy, like we've been saying. Mr. Joe Burrow to you is that guy. He came back from that deficit as well. They were down by what? Yeah, they were down 21-3. And Joe Burrow said, not the fuck today. And he became Joe Brady, in my opinion. Joe Brady, that is right. That is my name for him, is Joe Brady. Because he did it. He did what a lot of players can't do against an incredible team in the Chiefs. And that was a crazy game from the start to the finish. But I want to dive deeper into the 49ers and the Rams game, because to me, that game was just, I don't know. It goes back to you can't trust Jimmy G. And they are literally losing these important games because of their quarterback. And there's always a saying of that. There is a quarterback that wins you games, and there's quarterbacks that get you far enough, and there are quarterbacks that lose you games. And Jimmy G is the one losing you games at this point. And honestly, you can't allow that anymore. You cannot allow Jimmy G to lose your games. Deebo Samuel was on the sideline in tears because the game that he had, 7 carries for 26 yards, 4 receptions, 72 yards, and a touchdown. He was everywhere. He was everything. Kick return, everything. He did everything for this team. And when you have a quarterback that, I don't even know what that last drive was. Like, you have the ball with an opportunity with 2 minutes left. You have it. And you have a chance to win the game. And you throw the worst interception of your career. Like, it's just, it's time. Jimmy GQ is over. He just can't do it anymore. And I know that Mike Shanahan is he's losing his youth over a quarterback that's not going to get him there. And maybe Aaron Rodgers might be in the play. I know that's probably not the chatter. It's probably not going to happen, but hey, maybe he can be. And hopefully San Francisco, I don't think Trey Lance is the answer. I probably believe that David doesn't think Trey Lance is the answer. I don't know what David thinks, but I'm going to tell you David was wrong. David was wrong. He couldn't do it. I said, do you trust Jimmy G? He said, I trust Jimmy G in the final 2 minutes. And guess what? I told him, you never tell me that again. You never tell me you trust Jimmy G again, because Jimmy G is a failure when it comes to the 2-minute drill. And that was proven. I don't think Trey Lance is the answer for the San Francisco 49ers. I don't know who the answer is, because I don't know what they want to spend their money on. Rams balled out in the game. They had a terrible first half, I'll tell you that much. But honestly, I put my faith in Matthew Stafford, and he delivered. Matthew Stafford had another great game. Shocking. 31 for 45, 337 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. He balled out because that's what he does. Cooper Kupp, actually Cooper Clutch. Cooper Kupp is Cooper Clutch. 11 receptions, 142 yards with 2 touchdowns. What? That's crazy. Odell Beckham had a game, 9 receptions and 113 yards. They did it. Matthew Stafford and OBJ, they did it. They got to the Super Bowl. Jalen Ramsey got to the Super Bowl. Van Jefferson, shout out to another Gators player that's going to the Super Bowl, going along with Evan McPherson. That's kind of cool. They played together a couple of years ago. Eric Weddle, good for him being able to make to the Super Bowl. Von Miller, another Super Bowl for him to be a part of. I mean, this team, even Matt Gay being tossed away from the Bucks. This team is just like, they are the Super Bowl bound team. They just are, and it's just crazy to me that people are sleeping on them. They have been all year. This Rams team is destined for the Super Bowl, and I'm going to carry this across, especially with them going to the Bengals. I don't know. I can't believe that people sleep on these on these Rams so bad, because you can't anymore. You officially can't. It's crazy to think that this team is not honestly looked at as much as they should be. They're not. I want to talk about the other game because the Bengals and the Chiefs game was, oh my God, so many emotions, and it was incredible to watch. I'm gonna start with the Bengals. Joe Burrow had himself a doable game. This game was won on the back of Joe Mixon. I think Joe Mixon really stepped up, especially compared to last week where they couldn't rely on Joe Mixon. And Joe Mixon popped one run where he just cut back to the middle real quick and went back outside, and that kind of amped up this Bengals team, and it really changed the game. I think after like that 20, it was a 30-yard run. I think it was a 28-yard run on the dot, and it was the longest play to the point for the Bengals, and they just went with it. I think that was huge. I think that gave them the energy, and that was kind of the uphill from there. I'm so happy for T. Higgins. My man has been balling out. He has been balling out, and I'm so happy for him. I really, really wish T. Higgins the best, because he was supposed to be that guy, and I think that'll be forgotten. Is that 3 years ago? I'm trying to check really quick while I do this. I think it was 3 years ago. He was drafted in the second round. Last year. He was drafted in the second round, the first round, first overall, pick 33 overall. And he was supposed to be that guy from Clemson, and he just got hurt. Not got hurt. Joe Burrow got hurt, and T. Higgins just didn't have a year, and this year he's been great. He's been incredible, and I'm so happy for him because he has really shown that he deserves to be a wide receiver 1, and he's a wide receiver 3. I mean, wide receiver 2, I would say him and Tyler Boyd, but Tyler Boyd is a captain, so Tyler Boyd is a baller. I do agree with David that this is probably one of the best receiving groups in the NFL. Having T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, even having Ozema. I know he got hurt. He's probably not going to play in the Super Bowl, I don't see. But yeah, it's just, this game was like hard fought from the beginning to the end, And let's just flip it over to the Chiefs really fast. And Patrick Mahomes had Patrick Mahomes games, except for his 2 interceptions. Those were truly massive. And props to the Bengals to being able to jump on it and force turnovers that a lot of these teams, honestly, it doesn't seem like they are like creating. I mean, in the other game there were 2 interceptions, but like the Bengals are picking off and playing great defense against these great teams. And that's what's separating them, and that's what's getting them there. I mean, to shut out Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs offense in the second half, to only score a field goal, that's insane. And to get that interception in overtime to give your opportunity to win the game. And I do want to talk about this real quick for the overtime rules in the NFL. Dave and I did have a discussion about it off stream or off the podcast, and I will probably bring it up again when he is back next week. And I think I might have convinced him that the NFL rules for overtime should be changed, because going back to our previous conversation about the overtime rules, he said that life just isn't fair. And he just said that you got to be able to stop the offense. Life just isn't fair. If you can't, you can't. And I said to him that sports are important because in sports, you literally are supposed to be on fair playing field. That is like it. That's the rules are set in place for it to literally be fair. And you have to prove that you are the better team in that moment, in that game, with a better game plan to win the game. And for one team to get the ball and the other team not possibly get an opportunity for that, that isn't fair. So regardless if they score a touchdown on the first drive, regardless if they get a field goal in the first drive, it should be fair in the fact that each team gets the offensive opportunity at least one time in overtime. It's the only thing that makes sense. Because the anticlimactic game of the Bills versus the Chiefs was just so gut-wrenching to watch. And then, of course, with Josh Allen tweeting as soon as the overtime started with the Chiefs and the Bengals, pain, period. It's true. It is pain. It is unfortunate that the greatest game in playoff history had to end with such an anticlimactic one-drive win. This one didn't, because we talked about, David and I, the over-aggression that Patrick Mahomes just needs that big play. We just always need that big play. We're always looking for that big play. And up to this point in the playoffs, he did such a great job of focusing on checkdowns if he needed to. He focused on the underneath routes. He focused on like just getting a first down. And he got into this moment in overtime and said, I need a touchdown. And that was the downfall of his season. Patrick Mahomes' over-aggression was the downfall of his season. And now the Chiefs are out, the Bengals are in, so are the Rams, and 2 years in a row after, like, no one's really talking about this, which is crazy to me, after not having this for 52 years in the NFL. 52 years without having a team hosting and actually being in the Super Bowl. We're having it in back-to-back years. Crazy. And, like, literally to the point where they like said this will be the first time that the team has hosted the championship game and the Super Bowl. Like, give the Rams credit for making it to the Super Bowl in their home city. Just like you was such a storyline last year with the Buccaneers, but since the Rams are still new to SoFi and there were more San Francisco 49ers fans than there were Rams fans, you don't give them the credit they deserve. They are doing something that's incredible. So I had bone to pick with the NFL on that. Other things I want to get into, because I think I covered the game mostly. Rams, if you didn't know, versus the Bengals in the Super Bowl, Pro Bowl going on today, but it's not really that big of a deal, or it is. If you are a fan of the Pro Bowl, like I said, I was there. The day that man died, it's really unfortunate. I want to get into the head coaches a little bit, because I want to talk about the new beautiful lawsuit that the NFL has on their plate right now. This season, there were 9 head coaching opportunities, 9 vacancies in the NFL. And so far, 7 of them have been filled. And so far, 0 of them have been any of the black head coach opportune prospects. And Brian Flores is now leading the charge of the class action lawsuit versus the NFL about the diversity and the systematic racism that is in the NFL that has not been fixed and is more of a problem. The Rooney Rule does not work, and there needs to be change. So I'm jumping deeper on that in a different podcast. I don't want to get that deep, and I want to talk to David about this too and respect his feelings on this topic in this podcast, so I will wait for that. But I do want to talk about some of the coaches that were hired, and I think we're just going to start with this. Matt Eberflus, the Colts defensive coordinator, is going to be the new head coach of the Chicago Bears. Honest to God, I am not a big NFC North person, so I really don't know how that goes. I know that they were happy, the Bears fans. I mean, they do have a great defense. They do really focus on defense in Chicago, so I think that will be very helpful for them. I know they got a new general manager, Ryan Poles, and they actually already have their new offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators. So the Bears actually might be able to do something. And Justin Fields, I think that is a great opportunity for a coach to go to because really their team is complete. They just have to make sure to keep on to Allen Robinson and keep a good defensive core and change a few things. But they could be a great team. I don't know why the great mind of Matt Nagy couldn't do it. The Broncos, this one I know a good amount about. Nathaniel Hackett. If you don't know who Nathaniel Hackett, his dad was a longtime coach in the NFL, and Nathaniel Hackett was a part of the 2017 Jaguars team. He was an offensive coordinator, and that might not sound like much, but if you don't remember, in 2017 was the last time the Jaguars made it to the playoffs. It was also when they made it to the AFC Championship with one of the best defenses in NFL history and the worst quarterback to ever make it to the NFL Championship or AFC Championship. Blake Bortles. Nathaniel Hackett took Blake Bortles. Do you know who that is? Blake freaking Bortles to the AFC Championship and was almost in the Super Bowl. He's going to be a great coach. He really, honestly, will truly be a great coach. I 100% believe that he is going to be a great coach in the NFL, a head coach. I just am happy for him to finally get the opportunity. It's a little too late, to be honest with you, because he deserved it 3 years ago. He deserved to be the Jaguars' interim head coach, but they didn't go that way, which I don't understand. My Jaguars hired Doug Peterson as of yesterday, Saturday, and I'm happy with this hire. At first, I wasn't. I'm going to be honest with you. I did want Byron Leftwich. Byron Leftwich makes the most sense for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I've been beating this drum for the past 2 years, and it's true. He is one black head coach going into a city that is about 50-50 white and black. He was a great quarterback for the Jaguars, one of the best in their history, even though it was a short period of time and nothing crazy came out of him. People loved him. People well respected him. And he has a great resume of working with Tom Brady, working with Ben Roethlisberger, working with Carson Palmer, working with Bruce Arians. And it's really disheartening to me that he didn't get the opportunity. But they did go with Doug Peterson, which I did come around to because he is a great quarterback coach, and I think the issue in Philadelphia wasn't necessarily all on him. And he got into a bad situation with Carson Wentz always being hurt, Nick Foles situation. It was just a whole mess for him, and it's good that he got the year refresher. I think that he will bring a winning attitude for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I won't go too deep because that's truly my team, and I don't want to get too passionate about it. The Vegas Raiders, Josh McDaniels, is getting a second opportunity to be a head coach in the NFL, and he was asked why he waited so long, and he said that, and this is just paraphrasing because I don't have the quote in front of me, that he took time and he wanted to make sure that he took the right position in the right circumstance and situation. and he felt like this was it. This is the one. That the Vegas Raiders were the perfect opportunity for him. That they just fit his mold, and that he really truly picked this team because he knows what they have. Now, the Raiders can be really, really dangerous. They were dangerous, and then the whole Henry Ruggs, John Gruden thing happened this year, and they fell off the map. Really didn't fall off the map. Joe Pisacci, I'm butchering his name because I don't actually remember it, did amazing as an interim head coach that never was a head coach in his career. And the fact that he wrote hand personal notes to every single player after their playoff loss is incredible. That man deserves so much respect for what he did. Rich Bisacci did incredible things. Minnesota Vikings, they got Kevin O'Connell, who is coaching in the Super Bowl. Kevin O'Connell, who was going to interview with the Jaguars as well, but the Minnesota Vikings did not get their guy in Harbaugh from the Michigan Wolverines and said, we need a coach. And they just hired Kevin O'Connell, like out of nowhere, like literally out of nowhere. So that was weird, but that was done. And I don't know much about Kevin O'Connell because I always thought that Sean McVay was the mind of the Rams. Truly, that's how they perceive it. That's how they talk about it. That's how they show it. And I don't know what he really does, if he does make that big of a difference in LA. But we will see, because he's going to get his opportunity. And the Vikings probably need to get away from Kirk Cousins. It just needs to be done. Yeah, they need to just get that kind of cut off right there, to be honest with you. Now, this is the one that is kind of a big freaking deal. And this is one of the teams that is involved with the lawsuit in the NFL. There are 3 teams involved. If you did not know, it is the Miami Dolphins, it is the Denver Broncos, and most importantly, it is this team, the New York Giants. If you don't know how this all went down, earlier last week, I think it was on Sunday or Monday, there was a tweet that came out by Brian Flores from Bill Belichick messages between him exchange, and Bill Belichick was reaching out to Brian Flores to ask him how he felt about the whole interview with the New York Giants. And he said, "Oh, I'm excited and I'm ready." And he said, "Well, I know you got this job. The Bills and Giants have been saying great things, and you got this." And Brian Flores said thanks. And he later sent, "Coach, was this supposed to go to me or Brian Daboll?" Or he said, "Sorry, Coach, which Brian are you talking to right now?" And Bill Belichick responded to him saying, "I am so sorry. I've never done this before. This is supposed to go to Brian Daboll. I'm really sorry, Brian." And Brian just said, "Thanks, Bill." And in that time, this was Monday, I believe that Brian Daboll was announced on Wednesday. And the reason why this was such an issue is that Brian Flores already knew that Brian Daboll got the job and hadn't even had his interview yet. And if you don't know what the Rooney Rule is, the Rooney Rule it's the base of the Rooney Rule. It has a lot of changes to it now, which are good changes, but it's that you have to at least interview one person of color for your head coaching position. It also, now it's changed to two people of color, 2 persons of color, I should say, and then assistant coaches have to be coordinators all the way down, and general managers. All you have to interview at least one person of color. And Brian Flores' interview was quote unquote a sham in his mind, and this sparked outrage to the point where Brian Flores, the former head coach of the Miami Dolphins, is now suing the New York Giants. The Miami Dolphins and the Denver Broncos and the entirety of the NFL for the systematic racism and the challenges that they have for head coaches and the opportunities that black people that are not provided for in the NFL. It is a 58-page document. I did read the entire thing. I am decently well-versed on it. I don't want to go too deep on it because, again, I want to have David on here and we can discuss it together. this was a weird hire to me regardless, because Brian Daboll really has not done anything as a coordinator. He hasn't won a Super Bowl as a coordinator. He has not. He did win Super Bowls with the Patriots, but he was never a actual coordinator. His offense is also not very good. Like, he's been riding the coattails of Josh Allen for the past 3 years, in my opinion, and they really haven't done much on the offensive side other than Josh Allen being a complete monster and running around and throwing incredible footballs. So I don't like this hire. I'm not going to say Brian Flores was the right position for New York. I do know that people like to play for Brian Flores. I do know that he is a stand-up guy, and honestly, he is a great coach. And I know he has been successful as a coordinator. And to win 7 games in a row and to have a winning season, get fired, which has happened 6 times in the NFL since 2004 of those coaches were black. I will stop there because I will get upset, and I do not want to go too deep into that. Other than that, I think that is it for all the coaches, and I don't know. I don't know. I don't know anymore. It's just crazy to me how much the teams really screw this up. They just really did, all of them. And I can't believe what's going on in the NFL. But regardless, it is just crazy to me. But I don't want to say too much about that. I do have something else, a project I'm working on for that. It's crazy. The NFL is crazy that there's 2 more positions available in the NFL. One of them being the Texans, the other one being the Saints. The Saints is just a death wish for whoever takes it. I think Kellen Moore was a great fit for the Saints. I said this a couple weeks ago, I believe, on our show. I think Kellen Moore is a really good choice. Yeah, as soon as Sean Payton got fired, Kellen Moore was my guy for the Saints. I think he interviewed. I'm not 100% sure. I'm actually going to check really quick here. Eric Bieniemy, Brian Flores is actually a consideration as well for the Saints job. Oh, and the Dolphins obviously need a head coach. I actually think Kellen Moore was going for the Miami Dolphins just in case to make sure. Thomas Ryan Daboll, Leslie Vance Joseph, Kellen Moore, offense coordinator. He is pending. Probably going to be him, I feel like. I truly just see Kellen Moore being the head coach in Miami, which, let's not get into it with you. The Dolphins did a Vance Joseph and Leslie Frazier or Thomas Brown. I'm just talking to myself right now, but obviously I'm on a podcast where no one is here. I'm just literally talking to myself. Dennis Allen, Saints defensive coordinator, is interviewing Eric Bieniemy. Dennis Allen apparently just has this job locked up. According to other media outlets, people love Dennis Allen. People love working for him, working under him. So they think he's going to be the next Saints head coach. Eric Bieniemy, Brian Flores, Aaron Glenn, Byron Leftwich, Doug Peterson already got hired, and Darren Rizzi. Could you imagine a special teams coordinator becoming a head coach in the NFL? That would be crazy. Bill Belichick. Yeah, so Eric Bieniemy, Brian Flores, and Byron Leftwich, they interviewed 3. I think Byron Leftwich is not going to get hired this year. It was really unfortunate because he freaking deserves it. The Texans, on the other hand, let's see who they have coming up. The Texans, Houston. Where are you at? Brian Flores was interviewed. Jonathan Gannon, Joe Lombardi. No, please don't. Josh McCown. I will bite my freaking tongue. Kevin O'Connell and Hines Ward. That's interesting. I didn't know even interviewed there. Special assistant to the head coach at Florida Atlantic University, FAU. That's down the road. The fuck, man. I'm going to leave it there. That's all I really got today. I will be back on with David this upcoming week. We will be going over our Super Bowl picks and who we think we're going to win. I'm going to roast him for what happened with the Rams and the 49ers. And honestly, we will probably break down the Chiefs Bengals game a little bit more, but other than that, I hope you all have a great night. Hope you all have a great day. Thank you for listening to What's the Checkdown without David. My name is Chandler. Again, I appreciate you guys, and please subscribe, like the video, do whatever you can, support us, because we will not be going anywhere, and we want to be supported by you guys to enjoy everything. Again, thank you guys for everything. We'll see you around, and until next time.